Okay, Marie, I'm so glad that we had the chance to go through the Realty USA Buyer's Advantage program, and you're comfortable with everything that we talked about in
Absolutely.
the booklet.
That was
So
great.
I'm going to give this to you. You can take this with you.
Excellent.
And you can refer to it during the process. That way, if you have any questions, of course, I'm always available, but the book is a great reference as well. And as I said when we went through the book, there's 2 documents that we're going to review right now. There's many disclosures as we move forward, but right now there's the agency disclosure that we just reviewed, and then this is the exclusive buyer's agreement that we talked about. So this simply will memorialize what we already discussed as it relates to how we'll be working together, okay?
Okay, great.
So I'd like to just go through it so that you completely understand it. The very beginning simply states that you're the purchaser, where you live, and that you're going to be represented by Realty USA and myself as your buyer's representative. And again, the whole purpose of this is for us to work in your best interest, purchasing a residential piece of property as we discussed, for the period of beginning today and ending 6 months from now. We discussed low inventory, and while we would love to find you something a lot sooner than 6 months, which is our goal, this contract will go for 6 months in the event that we're, out there looking a little bit longer than, again, is expected, okay?
Okay.
Questions on that?
Not at all.
Okay. The next section is just, item 2 is just related to local, state, and federal fair housing laws. It is our goal at Realty USA and as a New York State Realtor, obviously, to work within the non-discrimination laws and the fair housing laws that we as Realtors have to abide by, okay? The next 2 sections are the 2 areas that we discussed as it relates to expectation. The first one is our obligation to you. And the first is my obligation to use my diligence in locating a property at a price and terms that are acceptable to you. So we're going to work very closely on that. And I really pride myself on the relationship that I have with people that I work with, and us moving forward together, okay?
Okay.
One of the things I'm going to do for you is when we do go out and we look, I'm going to prepare a market analysis of the property that we looked at so that you could be as well informed with data so that you can make a good decision on what that price will be. So my goal is to empower you with as much information as I can, so when we do get to the point of deciding on a price and terms that are agreeable to you, I've done everything that I could using, my diligence in getting you the information so we can move forward, okay?
Yeah.
Any questions on that?
No, that was good.
Okay, great. And then obviously my skills in negotiating. I love negotiating. Most people don't like it, but I do enjoy it. And again, my goal is not only to get you the property at the best price and terms, but to get you the property, okay? And we'll talk about that. And, as we discussed in the buyer's book, the market pretty much dictates a lot of that as well.
Okay.
Okay? So I'll be walking you through the entire transaction as we discussed and as we move forward. But as we move to the next section section speaks to what your obligations are. So for me to truly work in your best interest through this process, it's absolutely critical that you and I communicate on a consistent basis, and that if you see something out in the market that we haven't talked about, for instance, a for sale by owner, new construction, that you'll reach out to me, and then I'll be the person, I'm your agent, again, pledged to work in your best interest, so I'll be moving forward, to contact that for sale by owner, to contact that new construction, that builder, in your best interest, okay?
Yeah, that sounds great.
So I want to be, I want to be the one that you come to, if you hear or see of anything out in the market.
Okay.
As we talked about in our buyer's book. So those are your obligations. So basically, based on what you told me, we're going to be looking for residential property in the price range of between $400,000 and $450,000. We're going to be looking in the town of Amherst and Clarence within Erie County. And this simply memorializes that we discussed that, and this is what our goal is. If anything should change as we move forward, we'll add it here.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
The next section is section 5 that speaks to the fact that as I'm out there in the market, I'm going to be working with many other buyers. And some of them may be looking for a property that's similar to the property that you're looking at. I may show you a property, may show it to another person, and in some instances, I may even be preparing a contract for more than one person. Again, my goal is to work in your best interest, and I'm simply letting you know ahead of time, through this agreement, that could occur.
Okay.
Do you have any questions on that?
How would you handle that if you were writing an offer for two
Well,
of your clients?
Usually the way I handle it is that I go to each person, I give you the data and the information, and then you make a decision as to what your highest and best offer is based on, how that property meets your needs. And then I would do the same with the next person. So my goal is to take in whatever, is my client's best, and hopefully, one of them would be successful.
Okay.
Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Okay. The next section speaks to property listed with our company, with Realty USA. And on the buyer's agreement, you stated that you were okay, you gave me advance consent to dual agency and advance consent to designated dual agency. And this just speaks to that. We already had that conversation, as it relates to that. Of course, you will have professional counsel as we move forward. Once we find a property and we're able to enter into a contract, that contract would go to your attorney for the legal aspect of the transaction and for their approval, as would the sellers as well. Okay, so any questions that you have as it relates to the legal aspect of it, or even tax questions, that's not my area of expertise. So therefore, I would recommend that you seek out those professionals to give you guidance in that area.
Okay.
Okay. As far as compensation is concerned, this particular agreement goes on to state that my commission will be no less than 3.5%, and we will do everything that we can to be sure that that is incorporated into the transaction. The majority of the time that we go out and look, there's already an offering that the seller is making to whoever brings the buyer to the table. Okay, but in the event we spoke to for sale by owners, we spoke about new construction. In the event that we do find a property that's being offered by a seller directly, that's not listed with a realtor, we would then negotiate our fee with that particular seller. And again, we would incorporate it 9 times out of 10 in the transaction. Okay, so we'll cross that bridge if and when we get to it, but again, the majority of the time we're going to be looking at properties that are currently listed. So, the offering again is what would be acceptable. Okay. Any questions on that?
No.
No, okay. Section 9 relates to the Home Equity Theft Protection Act, and since this is going to be your primary residence, we do not need to be concerned with that section. And again, early termination, this closes the agreement with the understanding that should I not abide by everything that's within this agreement, we give you a 10-day notice. Serve us with that 10-day notice in writing, and we'll do everything that we can to correct that so that we could do, the best job that we possibly can do. I've never had anyone who's done that, because again, I take this very seriously. And, of course I want to do the best job that I possibly can for you as we move forward in the buying process.
I appreciate that.
But we do have that, it's kind of like a little safety net for you so you feel comfortable, in entering into the agreement.
I think that will work out just fine together.
I do too. I'm excited to move forward. So let's just get your signature right here and we can begin. Thank you.
Thank you.